Hi there. Welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Catherine up in Canada. I've got a book haul today and I also have Happy Mail. Part of me thinks I should do the Happy Mail first, so I'm going to grab it. It's from my friend Camille. I feel like she's my friend now. She lives way over on the other side of our country. And she sent me a really nice goodie envelope of wonderful things and a beautiful, nice little letter there. Thank you, Camille, so much. I hope you don't mind me doing a little Happy Mail flip through. She had can labels. We'll get to those because she also sent me extras. They were in this little envelope. See, look, I get little happy notes. I feel very, very blessed and I'm very grateful. Anyhow, so in that plastic envelope was this. Let's move these out of the way so they're not distracting for now because the colors are so beautiful. But let's come down a little bit. There we go. So some tea cards. Love that. Oh, we get these all the time where I live. They're always in twos, mourning doves. We always have them in twos and they like to sit on our fence, and they must be the kind of birds that bathe in dirt because they never take a bath in our bird bath, but they do like to go down and have a drink. And like I said, they're always in twos. So at least the ones that hang around our house. Look at that beautiful pine tree and those Rocky Mountains. I've seen the Rockies, the Douglas fir, beautiful. So we used to get these where I live. These came in red rose tea. And it was the only tea my grandparents and my parents would drink. They wouldn't drink anything but red rose tea. And I must say I betrayed the family's trust when I became an adult and I preferred Tetley over red rose. But they like red rose, or they did. A little ticket. Look at that. Arrow Lakes bus lines. Blue Ribbon coffee baking powder. Blue Ribbon tea for over half a century. A canceled check. I better make sure I'm in camera. I'm so busy looking at these things all over again. From 1943, New Westminster, BC. Wow. British Columbia is a stunningly beautiful province. I've only been out there once, but thank goodness I was old enough to remember. My grandparents, actually I have a lot of family out in British Columbia, but my grandmother, the one who's in the Two Nanas bookmark, she lived in White Rock. And so we camped all the way out to BC and all the way back again. We drove through Canada to get out there, and then we came back through the upper United States. It was quite a trip. And I got to tell you, Saskatchewan, they're not kidding. Saskatchewan, you can watch your dog run away for days. A 2-cent postcard. I love that. And like, there's where you write, and there's where you put the address, and it's pre-stamped for 2 cents. There, that's better. Oh, goodness sakes, Catherine. And then the Whirlpool Rapids and Giant Wave of Niagara Falls. And I've seen that many, 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 many times, several times a year actually. I live close enough. Canada Savings Bonds, 1949. My goodness. My big brother would have been 3 years old. So, and I would have been another 10 years before I made my appearance. So pretty. These are going to be wonderful to use in journals. Love that. Quebec. Beautiful. So pretty. Glencairn, Ontario. Dear sirs, I am just on my way home. Anyhow, these are all going to be put to good use. Maybe one or two will get tucked into Louis and Oscar. I'll put those there, and then I need to either come back. Sorry. I should stand up so I can see. I'm still trying to see the world with one good eye and one terrible eye. And so now, even my good eye, the eye doctor warned me that I most likely will still need readers anyways. But that it can still take up to 3 weeks or even a little bit longer to know for certain. They could just keep improving, but usually eventually they will settle back to readers. Most of you guys probably, so many people, everyone I talk to, oh yeah, I had that done years ago. I'm late to the party here, getting my cataracts done. But on a good note, here's some happy news. So because of the backup from COVID, they're still catching up. They weren't going to be able to do my other eye until, what was it, August? Middle of August. And I got a phone call this past Friday, and it was my eye doctor's name showed up on the screen, and I thought, oh no, are they postponing? Yeah, my heart was sinking, and I picked it up, and hello, Catherine speaking. And she said, hi, Catherine. The doctor told us to put you on the on our cancellation list in case something came up sooner, that to offer it to you. And I said, yes, yes. I said, honestly, I could walk to the hospital. She said, how about July 19th? Yay. So that's less than 3 weeks away. Oh, I'm so excited to have both eyes fixed. That's going to be wonderful. Anyhow, I'm a little off topic, but I thought I'd share the happy news that, it was happy news anyways, that my eyes are getting fixed, but to now even have it sooner. Oh, so wonderful. So these are labels for cans. So they're vintage labels from British Columbia orchards and companies. Is that gorgeous? Actually, I believe these are for boxes. Now that I think about it, these are for the wooden boxes that the cherries come in. But that might be cans, or it might also be boxes. Yeah, they could be. Now that I look at them, these could very well be the ends of boxes, if you know what I mean. When you see them at antique stores, some of them are still in such beautiful condition with the beautiful labels on the end. So, yeah, house number. Yeah, because there's no, ounces, weights and ounces, I suspect these are these are box labels. And they're just so pretty. Look at the artwork on that. BC with the apple. Mountain grown. British Columbia has normally has the most beautiful weather. Well, the west side of the Rockies. They get quite a bit of rain as well, but I know my cousins and my aunt and uncle and my grandparents would tell me about how they seldom had to use winter coats. They'd have to use a warm coat in the wintertime, but not, there was really no need for snowsuits and things like that. And now there's, because of the weather changing, things like needing snow removal equipment is starting to become evident. I'm not going to get off topic, but anyhow, for Canada, British Columbia, if you want lovely weather, I mean, that's why my grandmother moved out there, was to hopefully have a bit nicer weather for herself in her later years. And since my uncle, my mom's oldest brother, lived there, and then eventually my other uncle moved out there as well. Most of my mom's family went west. Mom was the only one that stayed in Toronto. So pretty. Look at these peaches. Okay, peaches. And here's okay tomatoes. The Vernon Fruit Union. Vernon, British Columbia. I think for a while my uncle lived in Vernon. Okay, pears, Canada Fancy. Is that just the prettiest? Ah, look at this one. This one might be my favorite. Panoka brand apples. Canadian apples. Vernon, BC. So that's why I think that these are box labels. Because canned apples, the only canned apples I know are either applesauce or apple pie filling. These are just beautiful. These are the kind that wouldn't these, if split it and right down the center and make end papers for an all sorts junk journal, would that just be beautiful? And then I, of course, love this. Anytime it's, it reminds me of when England really had more of a say in how we run our country. Now they're just purely, their pictures on our money is mostly what they are. We're just simply part of the Commonwealth, but we have our own prime minister, our own governments, provincial and federal. So, but this I love. This is back when we didn't even have our own flag. I love when we got our own flag and it has the maple leaf on it. You can spot our flag in amongst other flags so fast. Makes me very happy. When we went to Ireland, I was very proud to wear our Canadian flag. I had a little pin on my backpack. People were always very happy to greet hubby and I when they heard we were from Canada. So I'm always grateful that we tend to get welcomed around the world when we go places. But I love that. Buy British brand Canadian apples from British Columbia. Beautiful. Thank you, Camille. Thank you so much. They came in the mail. I'm not quite sure when they came in the mail because, as many of you know, I'm really bad about checking our mailbox. Our mailbox is down the road. So I have to go for a walk when I go get my mail. It's not delivered to our house. So hence we pick it up maybe twice a week, 2 or 3 times a week. So, so I grabbed this. it was in there on Friday, and that was so I had so many good things happen on Friday, including Happy Meal. Now we have a tiny little book haul. Tiny little book haul. 2 of the books I'm not even sure I'll use or not. I may redonate them. But I never feel badly because their books are so reasonably priced, and plus the money is going to a good cause. So it's just, it doesn't bother me at all to just say, here, have these back. Or, you know, if I'm going over my bookshelves and I'll see a book and I'll think, I'm never going to make a journal out of that book. I first will try and find a home for it that doesn't cost me anything to ship it. And if I can't find anyone that will come and get it or pay for the shipping, then it gets donated and someone hopefully is very happy to find it. Okay, hold on. I'm going to find the pile of books. Okay, so the book sale. I went up to Kirby, Ontario, our little dog's namesake, the Kirby Church book sale. And I found quite a few great little books. I love this one. When I see a book like this, I think of Kelly. Hi, Kelly. Kelly, if you haven't visited Kelly's channel, Book and Paper Arts, go over there and get inspired and learn something, because she's a very good teacher and she's got lots of wonderful ideas. My recent books that I just finished, the Prima Donnas, they were very much inspired by Kelly's style of work. And my hat's off, tip of the hat to Kelly for those books. Anyhow, so I always think of Kelly when she recommends what kind of book makes a really good altered book. You know, when you remove the pages and then glue them together and use it to create art within them, like mixed media kind of art. And I do think this would be possibly be a good one, but I'm a little worried that it doesn't have, I think now that I've got it home, that the signatures are, oh, a little, somebody pressed a flower in it. I wonder how old that flower is, because this book is old. This book is 1881. 1881. The year of our Lord, 1881. I'm a little concerned that this is one of those books, because of how big this hinge is, that it's been the kind of bookbinding where the threads go top to bottom that way, rather than sewn in signatures. I don't see the nice little, you always sort of look for where, okay, there's where the center of signature is. You know how you look for the centers of signatures, and I have been hunting high and low for signature centers, and sometimes you have to lift down here to see if you can find the center of a signature, and it's just, so it may not be that that's the kind of book it is, but I still like it very much, and I will still, this will be some kind of a journal because I love the size of it. It's just a nice little journal. So that's Gage and Company's educational series, The Practical Speller. I love this. Price 25 cents. Isn't that awesome? The color is so beautiful and vivid. It's just in lovely condition. For 1881, I'm just amazed that it's in such nice condition. I love this one. I love the color of it, and that there's gold. You know I love gold. So, etchings from a parsonage veranda. And I read a few. It's a collection of stories. And I read a couple of chapters, and it's written by a parson's wife. And it is, what's the best way to put it? She's quite snooty. She tells an experience that she had with Mrs. So-and-so over the ladies' bazaar, and the lesson that Mrs. So-and-so learned very harshly, and had she done this or that. Those kind of stories. But $18.95 for this. But it's got some really cute little etching pictures in it. And they're just short little I read Mrs. Taffety. And she's quite opinionated, this author, but the cover is just beautiful, and again, it's in lovely condition. I'm just not sure how often it was ever read. Yeah, it looks like it's going to come apart nicely. So that's cool. I think that will make a really pretty journal, and again, I like the size of it. So found that. Not sure if I'm going to use this one or not. I sort of, because I was waffling on it, I thought, well, I'll buy it, and if it sits on my bookshelf for 6 months, I'll redonate. And because I feel like my money is still going to a good cause. That something like that doesn't bother me at all. It's just, I love the little size, the little pictures. I mean, it's vintage, obviously. I bet it's 70s. I don't think oh, 1968. Okay, so I'm not too far off. 2 years off. So, cute little pictures. But these colors aren't usually what I work with. But part of me feels like maybe I need to step out of my comfort zone too. So that's why I was willing, because it's tiny, I thought I'll take a chance on this. You can come home with me and we'll see. So I gave it a we'll see. Now this is cool, what I found, because at first I thought, is that a book? But it's a box. And it says National Museum, Ottawa, Canada. And price $1. And I thought, what is this? And this looked a little chewed on, and I thought, what's going on here? And I was able to find this on a few pages online, and the closest they could get was an approximate date, and apparently it's from the 50s. That's the closest I could get for a date, the 50s. But they are cards of birds. I already went through it, because as you can see, there's the Canada goose. So, and if you're wondering, it is Canada goose, not Canadian goose. It's sometimes I hear people call it a Canadian goose, and I guess if it was born here, it's Canadian. But the name of the bird is a Canada goose. There's your little tidbit of info today, if you didn't know that. Oh, look at all these little sweetie pies. But the cool thing about these, they're all postcards. And none of them have been used. Look at this. They're all postcards. Instant journaling cards. Like, oh, I was so happy. So happy to find these. So this had to come home with me. And I think it was Brian who was cashing me out upstairs. And he said, oh, you found that, did you? I just put that out today. And I said, yep, I found it. It's coming home with me. And he smiled. Now, I love this. Look at the size of that. Is that a nice size? I mean, obviously it's a reprint. Let's see. Miniature reproduction. Yeah. 1970. But the pages are nice and yellow. And now it is glued together. So if I want to be able to make a folio out of two, I am going to have to, you know, washi tape or else faux cellophane tape or some kind of way to join them together. So they're, it's a nice one, and I just love the size. So I don't necessarily have to put it in sideways. You know, sometimes you have to put them in sideways from the other reproduction Sears Roebuck books. So happy about this find. Although this is one they got a little creepier when they started doing a drawing for the item that they're selling, but still sticking the photo of the human on them. I liked it better when it was completely a drawing instead of sticking the photo on. The photo heads are a little creepy. Oh. Okay, he's got problems with his feet there. See what I mean? Stick the photo onto the drawing. Oh yes, looking dapper. Anyhow, so I was thrilled about that, and they were just unpacking this when I arrived too. And they had a few things put aside for me. They're so nice there. The volunteers that work there, there's always a cheery hello, and it was just really nice. It's always a pleasure to go up there, and I even just like to go there just to inhale that musty book smell. It's just fantastic. I chose this one mostly. I like the cover. I like the size. It's in good condition. It's old. It is, isn't that pretty? A Child's Garden of Verses, so it's very, very common. Robert Louis Stevenson, 1928. I don't necessarily like the poetry in it. Many of his poems are the kind of poems that basically terrify children into behaving themselves, much the way fairy tales were written to ensure that children behave and are good little children. But the illustrations are really charming. Someone clearly was trying to do their best to draw, and you know what, not too badly either. Oh, I see what she did. Yep, she held it up and traced. It's right exactly where she is on this side. Anyhow, this one's going to be a Dickens to take apart, because you can see, I don't know if you can see in there, it was the way they stitched the signatures together is from top to bottom, and these are horrible to try and get apart. Just horrible. But I love these illustrations. The illustrations are absolutely adorable. So even just for the illustrations, I'm thrilled. Oh, and some of the poetries and little brief stories are also now politically incorrect. So, like I said, I like the cover, and I love that it's a familiar title, and I like the illustrations, and that's mostly what I'll use out of this book when it someday becomes, when it fulfills its destiny. And I've got a few of these of Walter Foster. I've never had one by this gentleman, Ralph Fabry. So it's fairly typical, but the paper's quite nice. There's quite a few there. We'll go past those in case YouTube doesn't like those pages. But it's got some, back here there were some pages that I liked of art tools and such. Like, I loved this. And even in the black and white. And that. And this, I love that. I can see using these in, look at all these brushes. I want them all. Anyhow, so I grabbed that one. And then I think my favorite book that I found today, no, not today, it was yesterday, but now when you're watching it, it'll have been 2 days ago. Hold on, let me get these out of the way. Oh, you go back to sleep, little lady. She had babysitting over at her big sister's house today. So, and that was her first time over there for babysitting. Anyhow, I found this grungy book and I'm so in love. I loved it right away when I saw it, and then when I saw the title, I knew that this was meant to be for me. I mean, look how nasty that looks. And the back, I think it got put on the hot plate by mistake, by accident, because I think you can see the rings from the hot plate. And I think they were using it to hammer things. They were using it as a buffer. Like, that's just fantastic. You can't dream that stuff up. And, but the title of it is Brown's Second Book. Well, that's my name. So it's going to need some TLC. It's not in as bad shape as the William Morris book. I mean, that William Morris book, I've still got the pieces of the spine. it's in pieces. But it looks much nicer now. But when I saw Brown's second book, oh, and then I looked around hoping that I'd find Brown's first book. But I didn't find Brown's first book. I only found Brown's second book. So, anyhow, an English synthology in 3 books. Oh, there was 3. 1846. How's that? That might be the oldest book I've ever done. I think Marmaduke was 18... Oh, I'm going to have to check in my book and see what year. So far, I think Marmaduke is the oldest book that I've made a journal out of, but this one might be older than Marmaduke. But it's obviously got water damage, dampness damage. Look at that. That's why I think this will be made into a journal for me. I love it. It feels good. It's leather. And it just feels like somebody's used it to hammer things as a base to hammer things on. It's just awesome. So that was my little Kirby book haul. When hubby said he was working from home this weekend, he was able to flip the lines over from work and answer the phone from home. Because it's a holiday weekend up here. So he kicked me out of here. He said, why don't you go to your book sale? And, well, you twist my arm. I'll go. And there we go. So thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed seeing my wonderful Happy Mail that Camille spoiled me with. And then the books that I found. I had a good weekend, and then to top that off, to start my weekend with finding out that my second eye's going to get done in less than 3 weeks. That was icing on the cake. So I hope you have a great rest of your day. And we will talk soon, probably later this week. I think I've got a pretty quiet week, which I really hope I do. I'm going to check my calendar. I love quiet weeks when I know that I don't have to go out into the world and do any adulting. Don't want to do the adulting stuff. So if I can stay home and play with my dog and play in my art room, that's a good week. So anyhow, I hope you have a good week too. Take care. We'll talk soon.